What's up, y'all? It's Jules. Welcome back to the channel. I am going to give you guys a short video of my pregnancy update, if that's what they call it. Yes, a pregnancy update, plus 3 books from 2020 that I loved and I would definitely recommend for you to watch. So, as you know, 2020 was the year that we got COVID, which means everyone was in quarantine. There was a lot of time to read books, to watch TV shows, listen to music, all that good stuff. And on top of that, I actually started my master's in 2020, which means that I had to read a lot, which was great though, because it really disciplined me to read fast. Not to brag, but sometimes I'd have to finish a book in like 3 days. And so this is what I've gathered from all of my finds that I personally found very touching. I thought that the writing was amazing. I thought that the stories were compelling. So let's start it already with number 3. And that is The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. This was recently made into a movie on Amazon. So if you don't want to read the book, obviously you can watch the movie. And the star of that movie is the guy who is in Baby Driver and The Fault in Our Stars, Ansel Elgort, if I got that right. But it's a beautiful story about this young boy whose mother dies and he's so torn, he's so broken, he becomes this orphan and he just gets shipped around, but because of his depression and because of his loneliness and because of everything that's happened in his life, he delves into a world of crime. And his life just gets turned upside down because of the secret that he's trying to hide. It's super action-packed, but I have to say that it's very character-driven. There are moments there that'll just make your heart clench and just make you feel so bad, but also feel like, you know what? This guy's gonna get it. He's gonna get his ish together and things are gonna be all right. So at number 2, I have a tie. As you know, or maybe you don't know yet, my favorite genre is the mystery thriller genre. I love those stories that are like, somebody died, somebody got murdered, who did it? So I got into that entire genre because of one author who I found to be our modern day Agatha Christie. She was like the second coming of this kind of writer of our generation. And so that is none other than Ruth Ware. One by One came out recently. This one takes place up in the mountains. It's told from 2 points of view. We have 2 girl characters, and as the story progresses, we find out little by little different details. You know, one person goes missing and then another person gets murdered, and just so much starts to pile up literally as the snow is piling up around them and they can't get out and all electricity is down. So it's such a topsy-turvy kind of story and you're just left on the edge of your seat, left holding your breath. So I definitely recommend One by One by Ruth Ware. But if you actually have time and you get into this book, I would recommend reading all of her books because they're fabulous. And I know 2 of them are actually going to be turned into movies. So that's definitely something to look out for as well. But in tie with One by One by Ruth Ware, I would say second would be The Guest List by Lucy Foley. If there's one other woman of the mystery thriller genre, I'd recommend it would be Lucy Foley because she's brilliant, man. The Guest List literally got on so many lists for 2020 and definitely deserving because it's another story that's just so gripping, so grasping, takes place over 2 days, is told from 5 points of view, and all of the inner dialogue of the different characters really pushes the plot along. But everyone's got a motive. So you're back and forth between, oh my gosh, he did it. No, she did it. No, he had to have done it. So it's crazy. It's definitely a thriller. It's mind-blowing. And it's something that you could read and just knock out, I think, in a day if you were really committed to it. So there, in tie for second place, The Guest List by Lucy Foley. And number 1. This was really hard, guys. Just putting this list together of 3 books that were my favorite from 2020. I read over 35 books. Not to brag, I had to. Half of them were required reading, but half of them were also personal choices. And I get a lot of my recommendations from different book clubs. Of course, Reese's Book Club, Oprah's Book Club. Like I said, lists. I always like to see what's on the New York Times bestselling list, Amazon charts, the Goodreads list, but this one is deserving. I know a lot of authors, they go under the radar because they don't get placed or, you know, the marketing isn't just all that stellar for them. But these books are definitely deserving of your read. And I would say number 1 would be Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. Another super compelling story, very touching. It will just take your heart and crush it, but it would also give you so much hope and so much faith. The timeline goes back and forth from the present to the past, and the story is like, oh my gosh, when you go into this girl's journey, her name is Kaya, and she's a swamp girl, and all she's done her entire life was just live out in the marshes. Thus they call her the marsh girl, but she doesn't know anybody, you know? She doesn't have family. She's left to her own devices. She becomes independent at such a young age, but she gets picked on and ostracized and ridiculed because of it, and you just feel for her. You feel so sorry for her, and you feel so sad for her, but you're rooting for her at the same time because you know that she's brilliant. You know that she's going to do great things. She loves nature, and because she loves nature, she actually becomes a scientist of her own without even having to go to college. So what happens to her? Obviously, you'd have to read the book to find out, but it will definitely suck you in, and if there is any book that I'd have to be stranded on an island with and I could read over and over again, it would definitely be Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. So there you go. There are my top 3 reads from 2020. Now on to my pregnancy. Speaking of having a lot going on in my mind, there's a lot going on in my belly as well. I found out that I was pregnant, or my husband and I found out that I was pregnant in September. To be completely real and vulnerable, I wasn't expecting it to happen so fast. I wasn't not trying to get pregnant. We definitely were trying in a sense, but I didn't expect it to happen so soon. And so I'm grateful for it. I'm excited about it, but to be, again, completely real and vulnerable, at first I really honestly didn't know how to feel. I had very mixed feelings about it. I thought about how my life would turn out, how it would pan out, what it would look like now that we have a child coming in. Every person's pregnancy is different, and I think that you just have to take it one day at a time. And as the days go by, you get there's just so much more to really reflect on, and also so much more to really get excited about. So my progress has been, wow, I can't even believe that it's been 5 months already. I was 4 weeks into it and then 8 weeks into it, and that's when we started taking the photos. But you're not really gonna see anything for the first 3 months, but I just kind of wanted to show you a little bit of my progression. So here I am at 8 weeks. Like I said, still pretty flat, can't really see anything. But we took photos every 4 weeks, as they said you should really document the process. And it was around 8 weeks as well that we got our first ultrasound. And then we went on to 12 weeks, and yeah, that's where you could start seeing a little bit of the progression, a little bit of the bump sticking out. Nothing really, you know, I could still hide it basically if I had to. And then around my birthday / Thanksgiving, which was a great time because my mom was here to celebrate with us and she got to see it too. That was when I was really showing. So this is me at 16 weeks. And now I just announced that I was actually pregnant over the Christmas break. I am going on 21 weeks. I'm at 20 weeks right now as we're currently recording. And this is how my bump looks. So, like I said, lots to look forward to because it's just gonna get bigger. Really funny, we spent New Year's over in Redondo and we were like in line to get food, and one of the women standing behind us was actually holding a baby. She noticed me and she was like, "Oh my God, you're pregnant, how far along are you?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm at 5 months." And she's like, "You're so big." And I was like, oh my God, this is one of those times where I'm like, do I take that as a compliment or as an insult? But honestly, it shouldn't matter. Every pregnancy looks different, and that would be my advice for any woman who's currently experienced pregnancy. I know that a couple of my friends have told me personally that they just found out that they were pregnant. Of course, if you're in it right now, if you've just come from it and you delivered your baby, if it's your first, second, or third time, every pregnancy looks different. My cravings have been out of the roof. I love milkshakes, I love grilled cheese sandwiches, but I would say that please, as much as possible, try to eat healthy. That's what I'm trying to do. Get as much rest as you can, because when that baby comes, there's not going to be a thing called rest, or at least that's what I've been told. There you go. That's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to give you guys a quick update. Of course, I'm going to be shooting more videos. I'm going to be coming out and letting you guys know what the gender is, because we're going to go into our second ultrasound and we'll find out if it's a boy or a girl. Thank you guys so much for all of your well wishes. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't yet, I would encourage you to subscribe. Please share this video, and I hope to see you next time here over the tube from the opposite side of the screen. Thanks so much. Bye.